Well, welcome back to the True Church of Jesus Christ with his Latter-day Saint. This episode, we're getting into all of the books that God has been giving me over the course of time to fulfill this ministry. And it all came by the grace of God. It all came by studying the scriptures. That's what this is all about. And how do we do that again? By Matthew chapter 6. Understanding that man is in a lost and fallen state. Yeah, he's got a mortal body and he looks kind of funny. And God is in the heart of all being, the unknown one. So sometimes the unknown one, he allows the idiot to go outside and pick up various books. And this is a talk about all the books that God's given me over the course of time that came very easily. See the grace of God? All these books are very astounding. I'm about to show you guys. All of these books are bought at Value Village. I just went there today. Here you go. See that? All today. And I bought about 9 copies of the Bhagavad Gita. And I got one of them for free. 5 books for $10. So at Value Village, if you buy 5, you get 1 free. Not too bad. But before we get into the book collection, we'll go to Matthew chapter 6. Verse 6, when thou pray, enter into the chamber, and having shut the door, pray to the Father in secret. Yep, in secret. See, I had no idea when you wake up and you pray and you just follow God's way, God will fulfill or supply the needs that He has in store for you. So He might not give you money like the idiot. He knows that God's not going to give him any Netflix and chill. As you can see, there's, no lovely arrangements for females in this establishment. No, God made this a house of prayer, study, and getting prepared for the one that comes in the name of the Lord. So while the idiot just wakes up and prays, sometimes he just goes over to Value Village. Why? Because they just keep giving books. This is a brand new Bible as well that I got for like $3. All because of praying in secret. And this is the things that we're praying for. This is what the ministry is all about. Not to take thought for the human periphery. Yes, there's lots of things that go on outside and inside the 5-headed serpent. See, with the 5 senses, 2 eyes, well, 2 nose, not 2 noses, but 2 holes, and a big mouth here. Those 7 holes actually go towards man's spiritual darkness, his ancient spiritual darkness. Matter, yes, is energy. And I've been hearing some of these guys talk about energy and attraction, laws of attraction, and thinking that this universe is giving them all that they need. That's not true. This universe is the 5-headed serpent, an ancient misty darkness. Yes, matter is energy, but that energy is a misty darkness known as Satan or evil. And an evil-minded energy has taken over this realm. So that's all like your Final Fantasy games. Final Fantasy 2, right? You have the Dark Knight Cecil. So why does he end up going to the Cave of Ordeals? Because there's this evil darkness penetrating the minds of men, and it's causing the world to go in disarray. So the process of self-realization is prayer, knowing and understanding that the unknown one is within us. And I was listening to a talk with Joel Goldsmith. Again, those are one of my teachers. I just keep listening and listening and listening. It doesn't matter how one might be reading books and advancing on their own. One of the paths of spiritual development is not leaving your teachers. So God's gift is free. You don't have to pay anybody anything to receive or to practice God. God is available to the saint, the sinner, the rich, the poor. And you don't have to give, you could say, alms or give any. That's what Joel was saying. So in order to defeat this spiritual darkness that men are under, this evil mind, they have to deny thyself and pray. Or else some charlatans, here's one of the bigger ones, like Neville Goddard. He's one of the bigger charlatans that say that this energy, this mind substance, you could just, use some idolatry. You could just think about, I don't know, like me, getting books? No. What people like to do is get money with their minds. So Neville Goddard has taught people using this ancient misty darkness known as Satan, the five-headed serpent that is inside your mind. This misty darkness appears as human beings. And he's telling people to think about idolatry, which is just dollar bills inside their mind. And he tells people to imagine these dollar bills just before they go to sleep. And then they think this universe is giving them things. I could be tricked into this universe giving me books. But that's not the truth. What's happening is the idiot knows the truth that this universe doesn't exist. And through his prayers, God is supplying his need only because of this relationship with prayer. God has nothing to do with this universe. So a lot of these charlatans are getting people into this law of attraction. They could just go out there and think about girls, and you're just, oh buddy, you know how much girls I would have thought about already, and just walk out there and try to get one? Yeah, it doesn't work that way. And that's what this world is conning man into believing, that they could just use their imaginations, conjure up money in their minds, and go out there and just try to find dollar bills. Well, what about this prayer? See, the idiot didn't go up and conjure all these books that he's about to show you. He just had to pray. See, there's a way to live life. And that's what these charlatans are trying to, get man into. They're trying to con him into using the five-headed serpent and not God in the heart. And God supplies our needs, not our imaginings, especially if these guys are imagining dollar bills. And the thing is with man's philosophy, remember, enlightenment, death, is not included in his periphery to overcome these things. That's also the part of the gospel. It's not just to go around and get books and get girls and get money. What about this thing called death that God, just wants us to overcome by following his way with Christ? Enlightenment. See, none of those guys put their minds on enlightenment. That's why they follow the five-headed serpent. And when the five-headed serpent, see, your own imaginings, your own mental concoctions, speculations, none of this is religious. Relying on God, praying. Don't talk like the heathens, though. Hobbity bobbity beebity bobbity boobity bobbity boop. For they think that they're much speaking. Well, God's going to hear them, right? Why? Because God's invisible. How could he hear somebody? That's why you have to know the truth. If God's invisible and he's in his kingdom, then how do you connect with God? Well, that's why there's prayer. And when the idiot prays, he gets things, but he doesn't get girls, he doesn't get money. He gets whatever God's going to supply him in order for God's ministry to come into this creation. Because God teaches that he cut man away from his creation. He has to follow Matthew chapter 6 in order to seek the kingdom of God that he was cut away from. And then God will give him some of this Holy Spirit that allows him to buy these books. See, this is a brand new Bible that I got for maybe $3 or $4. So now we'll show off all of God's miracles. Here's another Bible. I wish they weren't dirty Catholic Bibles, but brand spanking new. And this is what even I came to show off, actually. It's not even worth showing off. Well, hello, Miss Jessica. Miss Jessica Shibley is the one that first came into this church. And she is herself a bookworm, but she doesn't read any of God's literatures. See, most girls read about romance novels, and they want to have a good time, as the girls like to call it these days. Girls just want to have fun. Well, they don't want to have fun reading these literatures. And these are two brand new Bibles that God gave the idiot over at Value Village. What else did he get at Value Village? Oh, King Arthur and his knights. See this book right here, King Arthur and his lovely knights. Oh, please, Jessica. Thank you very much. But King Arthur and his lovely... Well, yes, that's another thing, too, with chivalry and knighthood. Oh, I hope you enjoy your Christmas party, Miss Shibley. But this is a book party right now. And not that many people actually, I guess, have book parties. But some knights would actually protect their faithful charming, lovely hosts or their princesses. See, chivalry taught men to be courageous for women these days rather than try to exploit them for their various body parts, especially those nice jiggly soft objects in between their various parts. But this book right here is going to tell you all about Joseph of Arimathea. Yes, Jesus Christ is in this book as well too. The lance and the spear. A lot of the lore of Jesus Christ. Yes, King Arthur. See, this is what people are going to have to battle with themselves. Is King Arthur real? Well, I don't know. Give it a shot. You might find one of these books over at Value Village, and you could read all about that. What else do we got here? We got Dante's Inferno. There's another book that was like $3 or $4. Teaching man that all the Greeks are in hell. This is what this book is about. After the Greek age with all their Aristotles and tittles and fiddles, well, it all reveals in this book, this lovely, lovely book here, nice colored. Yeah, see all those lovely pictures. That most of these stittles and tittles, they're all in hell. Oh, that's what's so funny. Yes, the Divine Comedy. That most of the tittles, fiddles, and stittles in the Greek age did not hit immortality. Just like it says in Acts 17 with St. Paul, they still have an unknown God. And because of that, there's this fellow named Dante that seed most of these Greeks in the Inferno. It's not so funny, is it? Better be careful what kind of ideologies we believe in. We're not even getting at the good parts yet. I'll just kind of show off. Yep, I got a Book of Mormon. Oh, oh my God, man, a Book of Mormon. Yep, that's a lot of more. See, this book is more about man's lost and fallen state, more about the Oriental mysteries, if you could read between the lines. Got a Bhagavad Gita and about 9 Bhagavad Gitams. I'll go through that, I guess, in a minute. This is a lovely book. It's too bad that the one that I really got here in this case, well, how many more Bibles do I have? One more little, you know, these little miniature Bibles. What else is here? A miniature Quran. This book is really nice, actually, this little miniature Quran. Yep. Brand new. Both in Arabic and in English. Another brand new Bhagavad Gita. I shouldn't even open that up in the package. This was packaged and sealed for $3.99. And that's helped me preach a lot of things on the ministry as well. More understanding of going back home to God. Not messing around so much with pretty girls. Yes, I don't feel like going to hell like the rest of the fools out there. There's lots of pretty girls, but there's also lots of prices to pay for those pretty girls. And if the idiot can't pay the proper price for the girls, he's not allowed to, you know, kind of test them out like Ferraris. So that's why God gives him a lot of books. The idiot reads so much, he preaches so much, because he stays out of trouble, and he tells people as well that there's loads and loads of hells for not so sophisticated people. So that's another thing, Miss Jessica. I stay very far away from. Brand new. I stay far away because I don't want to lose God's grace. That's another thing too. Oh, the birds are going nuts because there's a hawk outside. See, death walks around not only for the human beings, but also for the small little creatures. Poor sparrows that have to get harassed by death. These poor bird brains. Yep. So that's one Bhagavad Gita. This is Canto actual 12. This is Canto 11, Part 2. So there's more parts. There's like basically 30 chapters within this canto, and they split the chapters in 2 books. Brand new, still in the pack. Unbelievable. And the reason why the idiot doesn't want to mess around with too much girls, like I said, God's grace. It's like now you have a beautiful wife at home. You know why God says not to commit adultery or lying, cheating, and stealing? Well, would you do that with your wife? Would you cheat on your wife? And most guys, yeah, they would. All right, well, try to get any good from God and expect good from God if you're not following God's ways. God's kind of like an angry housewife. Since all the housewives are getting cheated on these days, there's a lot of people out not like following God anyway. And the idiot doesn't want to lose God's grace because look at all these books he's getting for super cheap. Look at all the food he's eating day in and day out. See, after this evil proclivity entered into my life because the crushing. You see, the idiot, he goes through life crushed because Mystery Babylon. You see, he tried to get some woman, and what happened was God crushed him, just like King Purangana. See that mortal intelligence? Yep, in one of these cantos. I don't even have that. Oh, no. You see, that's one of the things with this Canto 4. It's only part 1. And all the other good parables are in the part 2 of the book. And I don't have part 2 of Canto 4, which is the King Purangana parable of how man's fall. You see, he fell into a other realm, a 5-headed serpent, just like Adam fell. Yeah. And then what happened when he fell? There was just some woman there known as immortal intelligence. She suggests to the fallen souls to, well, I don't know, just to have sex, basically. Hey, I could satisfy all your needs down here for about 100 years. Danger, Will Robinson, danger, it's all a lie. If men follow their immortal intelligence, just as those parables say, it's actually a 5-headed serpent guiding all of their activities. Evil. And the 5-headed serpent lures mankind into hell. Oh, Adam, shall I show you another kingdom? Oh, yes, there's lots of... now we're there with the Arabic. Shall I show you another kingdom? Here's one Quran, other than the one that I already have. What else we got here? Oh, I got to go get that book as well, too. This is the 1001 Arabic or Arabian Nights tales that also go with the Arabic literatures. So I know a lot about this lost and fallen man messing around with girls and then getting crushed with sins. And then Godhead has to appear, and just like in the other chapters. Oh, living entity, you've been screwing around with your material intelligence since time immemorial, and you've forgotten about me. That's all life at the end of the day. You mess around with a few girls, and then you get God realization. Sounds pretty good to me, Lord. As long as you don't throw me into hell. Please don't throw me there. Sounds like a swell place for neato type guys. Well, I don't want to be that neato. What happened with that other book? I had here it is. Oh, death is coming again. Those poor little bird brains. A Corpus Hermeticum also goes very well with these literatures because this all talks about the Word of God, Son of God, and how the material nature crafted and formed man, just like it teaches in the Bhagavad Gita as well. So that's what God teaches. It's just men have to kind of accept it. If they don't want to accept it, well, I don't know what to tell you. You see, you're not just going to walk out there and start using the laws of nature to attract whatever you want to have sex with. That's a primitive understanding of life. And ultimately, the scriptures just warn man and say, danger, Will Robinson, danger. That material intelligence is hooked up with a 5-headed serpent. All because, yeah, there's a big story behind that. This is the first canto. This is a huge Bible on itself. It's a nice big book on its own, and this is the first canto, already valued at about 35 or 40 bucks. I got this for $10 because of God's grace. Praying for just nothing. You see, if you pray, all of a sudden God's grace will open up the way. That's what that means as well too. It's a very natural way, and things will just happen on their own. You don't have to force. See, I didn't have to. There wasn't any force involved with getting all these books. Another great book teaches us about our walk with God to be more stern. The way of the warrior, the way of the samurai. You have to put your life on the line, and that's what men have forgot these days. They don't like putting their life on the line because, oh, you have to make money with that time, with that life. You know, choose ye which day you're going to serve. You could serve whatever you want, I suppose. What else do we got here? Oh, more Chinese literature. This is the Romance of the Three Kingdoms. All these books are at Value Village. All of them. A wonderful book. All about man slaughtering over in China. A famous gentleman known as Emperor Cao Cao. Or Cao Cao. Cao Cao. Yes, he has no problem beheading people whatsoever. And then this Bible itself. The Voice of the Winds. A beautiful American legends, Native American tradition to actually give us the pastimes of the Lord. All about going back home to Godhead, the Seminole Indians. Telling man that there's a kingdom of God. But it's not out in the anywhere else. So what other of the book selections and collections did I show off? I think that's pretty much everything. You know, I can't believe, walking into a Value Village. A Value Village, there's about 9, that's what I walked into today, 9 volumes of Srimad Bhagavatam. And all from prayer. All from following God's revelations. Men are in a lost and fallen state, and they have to use God's infinite wisdom. Within me, there's a pearl of great price. And that pearl is known as Jesus Christ, or the unknown one, because the unknown one is unlimited, infinite, immortal, and eternal consciousness. And now, the outer periphery, we turn away from the world as much as we can. We don't think about ourselves so much, because we're going to miss out on opportunities to go down to our local Value Village and grab 9 volumes of Srimad Bhagavatam for $70. $70 is all it costs. And those books are valued, some of them are at $30. That one book alone is worth $30. So by praying and praying and praying and following God's way, God supplies us with his ministry, which is his word. Not only by these books, but also by spiritual revelation. I will make myself known to you. See the unknown one? And then afterwards, you'll be led to what God needs you to do. And all that really is more devotional service, actually. So it's more servicing God for your divinity. More, the way will open up for self-purification. And all of this is self-purification. Reading, studying, and understanding the firm goal is going back home to God. Basically, all these books are, they're for show. And if we don't study Matthew chapter 6, all these books are just Matthew chapter 6. It doesn't matter if you have 100 of these books. If you don't understand the main concept, which is going back home to God or getting God revelation, then all these books are useless. Which is it's what it turns in people's houses. They just have all these books just so they can go, oh, look what I have. Look what I got. Look what I got. Oh, look at all the books that I don't read and I don't care and I don't even use the knowledge. Even if it's God's knowledge. No. See, all these books, they're not just here to show off to people, because most people don't even give a damn anyways. Ooh, look at me, I have a Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Like, people, yes, look at me indeed. And on top of that, of showing and showing and showing, might as well show all the other literatures that God has led me to as well. There's just mountains and mountains and mountains of these printout pages that I have from the library. But I didn't have any books. I didn't have any money. So how would I get these books if I didn't have any money? Well, you go down to your local library. You could print out the Colburn Bible. Day in and day out, you get 10 free pages. Copy and paste it in your local Word program. And that's how you bring home the Colburn Bible. Look at all of these ripped off pages from the library, all for free, but all the days and days and days spent going to the library, putting books into Word format and printing it out, just so people could, I mean, just for people. I don't charge anything for any of this. See God work. I don't know how many freaking books I've read in my... This is just over the 2022, because that's when the way opened up. And when the way opened up, oh boy, it opened up all right. This is all God, buddy. Literatures of literatures of literatures of literatures. What else? More papers, more papers, and more papers. If people want money, see, if God gave me money, I'd be the richest guy on earth. Papers and papers and books and books. See, if I was like Neville Goddard, dreaming and being delirious about money, I'd be rich and rich and rich. Because that's not how the mind works. That's not how life works. By demonstrating this to people, 3, monstrous piles of papers, right? 3 monstrous piles of papers, all of these books. God requires your time. God requires a lot of study, dedication. And as you can see, these don't equate to money. And when I was preaching the ministry, I knew, like, how are people, like, asking people for money is just retarded. You have God, and God tells you, I am your bread. And how are people going to supply a ministry that they don't even understand? See, applying God consciousness, if people don't understand the way, then me asking people for money for things they don't understand is also contradictory, immoral, and not very productive. How are people going to support my ministry, as God says? You see, God's ministry, he could support his ministry himself. With idiots like me, see scribes, how they make the old new? Well, God makes the idiot go to the library and print out these are all of God's scriptures. This has nothing to do with man. It all has to do with the idiot being poor and not begging God for Bibles, or not begging people for Bibles. I can get Bibles from the library. You don't need... See, a lot of people bother people for money. Oh, my ministry needs money for Bibles. Really? You can go down to the Value Village and buy a Bible. Literally, I went there today, and there was more of these Catholic Bibles that are brand new for $2 or $3. Do I need to bother people for that? Maybe I should. No, I'm not going to bother anybody for money. See, that's low class spiritual fornication and adultery, because Matthew chapter 6 supplies God's needs for God's ministry. Where prayer, you see the idiot, he prays, He prays. That's what all this is all about. Through prayer, we live our lives. And prayer will support you even if you can't support yourself. So that's what the idiot teaches people. Even if you're weak, see St. Paul, my weakness. Yep, St. Paul was very weak. The idiot's very weak, destitute, stupid. But God's not. God is an infinite consciousness that allows the idiot to shelter like an umbrella. And if he dwells in the secret place of the Most High, that's when God is able to give the idiot his many blessings. Even though, like, look, this is all from Value Village. All of these blessings from God are simple, have basically cost no money. See, God's pretty cheap, and it just takes prayer and not taking thought for eating, drinking. See, seek my kingdom. This video too is a product of seeking my kingdom. This is what happens when you seek my kingdom. So when you seek my kingdom, I might give you a Bhagavad Gita for $3, this one was, at your local Value Village. You see, if you seek my kingdom, I'm going to give you my word. And my word is these scriptures. But if you keep following my scriptures, I will reveal the way to my word. And that's the mystical consciousness. And this is what we're trying to reach. This is what all these literatures have led me to preach over the past almost 3 years now. We're closing in on that 2025 mark. And I don't even... and that's just it. You know, it's been 3 years. And with this time, the Lord is promising great changes. The statue of Daniel is going to get crushed. Man's ways. And his kingdom is going to reign on earth that has never been seen in a very long time, ever since the beginning. And this is what we're looking forward to with God's religion, is a new change, not only in consciousness, but actually to receive God consciousness, immortality while you're on earth. And this makes my way in life. It's going to take a lot of commitment. Yeah, maybe a lot of sacrifice. But for guys like me that were losers and bums and be like, look at my Srimad Bhagavad Gita, guys. See, with losers and bums like me, we got nothing to lose, nothing to gain, but God's grace. His grace in our lives, which is immortal consciousness. Yeah. So it might, seem foolish to the people, but dwelling in the secret place of the Most High isn't just a Bible expression. It's not just a quote. It's an experience that you do every day. But God has to reveal the secret place of the Most High to you. Or, you're going to miss out on religion. You're going to get caught up in counterfeit religions, counterfeit nonsense, not knowing what... See, like in life now, being a Neville Goddard, using your imagination to try to bang hooers and get money. That's all these people are up to. Not even close to acknowledging God or a principle of this creation at all. Most of these people out there that are genius metaphysicians, they just, or like the prosperity gospel. Oh, just go get more money. Just get some girl to bend over and life will be okay. Yeah, no immortality though. No. Nobody even knows what the way means anymore. No. What about the secret place of the Most High? How much money could I get to have that open up to me? This secret place. How much money do I have to give Jesus Christ? Just like the guy, the rich man, you can't give Christ money for the secret place of the Most High. So this motivation, this change, where does our heart lie? Does it lie with this world, getting money, getting girls to bend over and over again, and then they just get deappreciated and dumped? So that's thinking a lot of women in this life too. They're going to have to make a choice. There's a lot of statistics out there. God's way can provide for you. See, that's the problem with my life. Is there going to be a roof over my head? Can Matthew chapter 6 lead me while I don't have anything? And the answer is yes, because there's a God. A lot of girls, they're going to have to do that too. They can't rely on the guys that are just tossing them around and throwing them like trash. That's what God's for, to pick you up. And that also support that people need, that people are looking for. You can't get it in a man. You can't get it in a woman. This is the whole point of the ministry. That whole intelligence doesn't exist. It does not exist. With God, all things are possible. And this whole coming to me allows the impossible to be realized in your experience. But you can't be chasing around what the world believes is, you could say, God, or you're going to miss the way. You're going to miss the way to immortality that you can't buy. You're going to miss the way to the secret place. Instead of praying for crap that you really don't need, especially for people that are looking for support, they don't have to see. There's a doctrine called the exogenesis of the soul, prostitution. That's the whole thing with the prodigal son parable as well. Big brother, Jesus Christ, knows that little brother's just a prostitute, looking to spend his time with whoever, for whatever, just to put a roof. Jesus Christ and the Spirit of God is the remedy for man's prostitutions, especially in this day and age. He doesn't have love. He just has a lot of prostitutions out there. Statistics. That's all you have. If the people don't work towards love, especially God, they're not going to get it. And their way is going to be a little bit foolish. They think that God's going to support them with what? Money? A house? Those are pitfalls people are finding themselves digging deeper into. And they're finding that, they couldn't rely on their once partner that they thought that they could rely on. See, this power couple, with no love in the periphery, you can't do anything. And it's just going to lead down an empty road, and that's all you have now is just this heartbreak ridge. A lot of those heartbreak ridges are crying about how I can't get my love. Yeah. Well, we can't get love because it's not included in man's knowledge. The only thing that's included in man's knowledge is just fornicating around and then using his imagination to just get money and girls, while God has a higher purpose. Especially for those girls, you're supposed to work towards God, and God is the love that he gives and provides. Girls can't give love. They can only give a hard time. Men know that, but they still keep on with this charade of the charade. With this, I hope it just opened up people to the point that God's just going to give you what you need in life in order to advance spiritual consciousness. So just like going to the gym, God didn't give me Nutella sandwiches to go lift weights. In order for God's way to be, you could say, cultivated, God's going to lead you to the proper resources in order to cultivate just consciousness. Just coming back home to me, relying on me, and making that big gap between the mind and the heart. And that's what people need. They don't need more boyfriends. They don't need more girlfriends. They need more of coming back home so I can give you what you need, because what you think you need is not real. In order to get these revelations, you're going to have to give up some of those things, or with people work together towards some of those things. People are working, see, this is what makes misery in people's lives. They're working towards more houses and cars and children. They keep getting houses and cars and children. The children aren't giving them any happiness. They're getting stupider because of education. More burdensome because more money. So instead of working towards love and peace and God, people work towards material destitution. And they wonder why they wake up next day. It's just like everything's all this and everything's all that. Well, that's because you had guys like Neville Goddard tell people that they should use their imaginations for money. Or that you had the prosperity gospel telling people whatever. Or you just had a bunch of atheists that just don't give a damn anyways. That's a lot of thing with this work, is God's been around forever and there's still people that just don't give a damn. So what God's going to do at Judgment Day is throw all those people into hell. That's what Judgment Day is all about. Mankind's got to wake up to the fact that there's a creation out there. And he can't just keep sticking his head up every girl's arse that he sees. He's got to do things in creation. Like understand there's a creator in creation. But that creator isn't mean, cruel. He wants man to have immortal life. Are those things real? Eternal life? Yes. You have to go through the door in order to receive these blessings, as God calls it, or else man is never going to find out if these things are real. He'll just read these books and he won't understand what they're all about. And then he'll try to watch a movie or something. I am far beyond watching movies. Yes, I'm far beyond playing video games, watching movies, reading garbage. In order to elevate your... See this elevation, this cultivation? It's a lot of work. It's a lot of prayer. As you can see, it's a lot of work. Just like the fat kid was eating Nutella sandwiches before. If you don't think I'm fat, we're about 40 minutes into this. I don't even think people are even listening anyways. But I'll show you what this... Nutella sandwich eating guy used to look like. Why is this relevant? Well, because change, cultivation. If people are looking for change, or if God too, just like the idiot, he was looking for God to make this magical change, but he didn't realize he just has to engage in prayer. Yeah, if we want God in our lives, we have to just pray, read. If we want change in our lives, we just have to engage. If the idiot didn't engage, then there's going to be no girls running wild on him. As you can see here. So see this Newman from Seinfeld looking person? How is he ever going to have any of good in life when he has cultivated his mind in such a narrow way? You see this? Well, it's not straight and narrow, but see, you can't get girls like this. They only just make a mockery. It's all about a change. And if you can't change, then you're going to be left in the dust. A lot of people are finding themselves, especially spiritually, in the dust. Destitute, lonely, impoverished, sick. And it's because they haven't, well, it's lack of understanding, lack of comprehension. I understand how things can be. I understand how things can be very greatly. God didn't give me just like some Netflix and chill and a perfect life. He gave me the way because life is very difficult. Life is very strange. Often or not, it's going to be very difficult and painful. Full of loss, confusion. Maybe some kind of, I don't know, hatred every now and then. It's okay it's okay to hate, I guess, but not to be too self-indulgent about it. But some of those things are going to have to change by practicing virtues, being committed on God's way. Or else the change people are looking for is not going to happen. You're just going to be like a bum begging for change. As you can see, life was very dismal for the Newman of Seinfeld looking individual. And if you're going to ask any girl or anybody, would you ever even consider some Newman from Seinfeld looking guy? The answer is no. God's the same way. Would God even consider people that are turning away from him, don't believe? They're just going to end up in some destituted position. That's why God's so important. And with him, he doesn't care if you're a stupid fat kid. He's always there looking to bring man home like the prodigal son parable. But while you're coming home, you're going to be picking up a few things along the way. Lots of books. So thank you guys for tuning in. And until next time, take care.